Okay, this is just a little short vid showing some of the setup on my media centre that I have at home. First things, so here we have first of all My Movies, which is an add-on for Windows Media Centre. I have the server upstairs, which has got 500 gig drive, which then any films that I buy, I rip them onto the media centre, onto the server, sorry, from my desktop, and that allows me to stream them either to this machine, another media centre upstairs in my room, or to my main workstation to watch films on there. So I've got a variety of films, including some HD DVD titles, which I've encoded myself to MKV format. So because Windows Media Centre doesn't deal very elegantly with high-def MKV files, I've set My Movies to open these using VLC to enable the feature to select what you're using. You have to make a donation or contribute towards the project. So I donated, which came down to about £30, which is fairly reasonable for a very nice bit of software. So as you can see, this is streaming from upstairs, HD DVD. Originally I tried ripping just ISOs straight onto the hard drive, but went with the MKV option because it proved both more space efficient, obviously, because sort of 4 gigs for this film versus a 20 gig ISO is quite a big difference, obviously, in hard disk space. But also because I don't have Cat5 drops through the house yet, so it reduced sort of bandwidth issues. Playing the ISOs led to stuttering and other problems if anything else was happening on the network. Also, as I've donated to the My Movies project, you get various different options for views and such features. So I can have the cover strip, which gives you all of these along the bottom. You can also have cover row and details, which just gives you single boxes, and where there's fan art available gives you a background picture relating to the film along with the description. So it works quite nicely. Next, the other addition, well, actually there's a couple other additions. I've got tuner-free MCE, which acts as sort of a centralised way of opening up iPlayer, 4OD and a few other online services, all through Media Centre. But also the one that I'm going to look at now is Maximus Arcade. So this allows you to basically act as a front end, and it's about to get very loud in a moment, for various game emulators. And with this you can load sort of arcade games, PlayStation, SNES, all on one system. I set it to scan for new ROMs every time, which means it takes a little longer to load up than it normally would. Anyway, here we go. So here we've got PlayStation, Nintendo 64, multiple arcade machine emulator, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and also Game Boy Advance, because I love Pokemon. So if we bring up the N64 and then Super Mario 64, the Media Centre here has a Core 2 Duo E8400 and a G45 chipset. It doesn't have any discrete graphics, so this is actually running 1080p through the Intel integrated graphics, which is quite surprising that it works well. I'm not especially good at games in general, but here we just have Mario 64 running, scaled up to the 1080p resolution of the screen, and we can so here plays through just like the original game, obviously with a few minor differences, but And then, just by pressing 2 of the buttons on the control pad, I can drop back out to Maximus Arcade. I can go back and pick another machine. So if I go to the Super Nintendo, I haven't actually got a huge amount of games for this. Here we've got Super Mario World. So this is running in ZSNES, I believe. Maximus Arcade sort of transparently opens each one up, so it's a very nice little application. I haven't even played through this game yet. Unfortunately, some of the emulators change the resolution of the screen, which pops up the little information there. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog, the original one. Let's switch the pad into the right mode. All of these just playing on original PlayStation pad for now. Well, the PlayStation style pad. So for SNES games it's not ideal because you don't really get the optimal layout of buttons, but compared to the hassle of swapping between multiple pads, it's a reasonable compromise for now. So we've got Sonic working nicely. Again, showing that I'm not particularly good at most games. And if we go to the PlayStation here, we have one that I'm not bad at. We also have Transport Tycoon on here, which is absolutely dreadful. If you've ever played the PC game, don't even look at the PlayStation one because it's atrocious. We've got Gran Turismo 2. Unfortunately, because it's a PlayStation emulator and it's being very faithful, the loads take a little while. I've been experimenting a little with some of the PlayStation 2 emulators, but I haven't been able to get any of the games that I own to work on them yet, so I haven't bothered filling up the hard drive with those. So here you can go see we've got Gran Turismo running. Go race. I don't even know if I've got a car in this save game. Unfortunately, when you select the menu option, it flickers through the sound a little bit, so it's not ideal, but it's working. And if we get in game, and one thing you really do realise with this is just how primitive these games look. So I actually took Toka 2 off this because it looks, especially on the screen this sort of size, it looks a little bit ridiculous these days. There's a few rendering errors with this emulator, but here we've got my lovely MX-5. And you could make it out of Lego in this thing. Wow, this isn't a very fast one either. So that's Gran Turismo. Somewhat embarrassingly, the game that gets played most on here is actually Tetris.